When did you learn that you were
Two Ignorance podcast?
Welcome to the
Elden Ring. None of us here have actually played it. We've just watched everybody else play it. Ian is dying and desperate. He's about to fold real quick and get it. One of these days. He's about to. Not he. That's it. He just can't afford to fold yet. But it's coming. It's coming. He gonna fold the second he get a chance. And so, I mean, to be fair, that's a lot of us, ain't it? Like, I would have folded on. There's a couple games I'd have definitely folded on by now if I had the money. So I guess when it's not an extra knock on in, but Elden Ring has taken the internet by storm, and luckily for us,
okay,
yeah, and luckily for us, John has actually played Elden Ring. Similar to, Patrice telling us a little bit about it last. Well, she didn't really tell us about it, but we made some jokes about that last time she was here because she's playing it as well. But John, you're playing it. How you liking it? Thoughts?
Amazing game. And I just start off by saying it's just an amazing game. And what I really respect about it is that it's making me play a genre that I normally stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually one of the few people out there, I feel, who is not super big into open world games, because open world games really messes with my, I don't know, I guess I'm pretty OCD about like having a checklist. And having to go do this and do that and do this and do that and do this and do that. And you open up the map and the map is just littered with exclamation points and waypoints and you need to go here and find that.
Mm-hmm.
This game doesn't do that. And that is my favorite thing about it. It is an open world game that lets itself be open world. It doesn't tell you where to go. It doesn't flood the map with points of interest. Everything is a point of interest because you wanted it to be. You know what I mean? Like you really are heavily rewarded for exploration and just wanting to go figure shit out.
Mm.
And that's what I like so much about the game. It's like, it doesn't, when I open up my map, I'm not looking for the exclamation point. I'm just riding around the world and I might just see some random ruins off in the distance. And it's like, ooh, I want to go to those ruins. In other games, you may not even be rewarded for going to those ruins, right? You may find maybe a treasure chest or you may find something. Every single place I've been to has been an entire dungeon that I get to go explore with hidden pathways, treasure, enemies. Like I don't feel like I'm wasting my time to go explore something. I know that if I take the time to go explore it, I will find something, whether that's a crazy ass enemy, a mini boss, an entire dungeon to explore. Like the map is massive. Like just the other day, I was playing the game, was in a forest, found like this one little, like this building, went in the building, stepped on it, and it was an elevator that went down for about an entire minute and a half. When I got down to the bottom of the elevator, a whole new zone. I was underground, and I realized how layered the map was.
Wow.
You see, just when you open up the map, you just see the map and everything, like pretty much like just the topography of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see all the crap that's underground. This is probably one of the most vertically designed maps I've ever seen. The map is huge because it's not wide, but there's just so much stuff above and below ground. And it's just crazy that you're able to explore that much. And I've just never played a game that made me feel so rewarded for being curious. Like when I play other open world games, that's something like a huge gripe. I remember, I think when we were first talking about Pokemon Arceus, I think Cam and Gerard were like, well, John, what do you want to see from, the next, Pokemon game? I was like, or just like something, open world. And I just remember saying like one of the reasons I personally didn't want to play that one was because in one of the reviews I saw, there was actually a part where somebody said there's not as much to explore as you would think. There's places you can go and you can find some Pokemon and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're looking for and finding most of the time one thing.
Yeah, that's the Pokemon. But that game is pretty basic for open world stuff. Like I feel like real quick on that. In addition, because I do agree with you on that, the open world for that it's very bland. I mean, once you can climb on stuff, it's a little different, higher elevation. But overall, I would say it's pretty for Game Freak's first, it's pretty elementary. Like it's fine for what it is. There's nothing to like jump out of my seat, and there's nothing for me. It doesn't give me fatigue either. It's like it's just the right size. It's right. It's the right size, but it's not too much of interest. Yeah.
I agree.
And I think the other thing you said though, another thing that like blows my mind about these games is that it's so amazing that I forget that this is From Software's first time doing an open world. This isn't like something that they've been doing. This is their first attempt at open world. They essentially just took the Dark Souls formula and applied that to open world. So it's like when you're in an open world, the open world feels like its own Dark Souls game. But then when you get to a dungeon, each dungeon feels like its own self-contained Souls game. Like, and that's what's so crazy about it is that like the open world, they're like, all right, we're going to give you some open world stuff. We're going to have you ride horseback. By the way, the horse riding, A1. I haven't played another game where your freaking mount has a double jump. That joint is crazy. That joint is actually crazy. But like they really dove into having they dove into the open world aspect and said, all right, we already have a formula. What will open world bring to our already working formula?
Versus trying just to match whatever other open world people are doing.
And so their open world formula works. With their open world, they now have a better fast travel system than any of their other games. With their open world, you now have a mount that allows you to do exploration. And then with its open world, bosses. Dark Souls games have always been about the bosses. What's so crazy about this is that you can just be riding around in the world and have a random encounter. And I'm gonna try it. And because Elden Ring is all about, your own personal experiences and finding stuff, I'm gonna keep it relatively spoiler free. But just know there's some areas in the game where you will be walking around and then there's, an enemy will, like a boss will ambush you. It's not like just a regular enemy. It's like you'll be walking like going across a bridge, and next thing you know, this boss character is on the other side of the bridge, like, oh, what's up? You trying to cross? And if you got to beat that sub boss before you even get across the bridge, and it's not even story related. It's just a boss that's out in the open world.
Sheesh, just here.
And it's crazy because they do a really good job of also taking their day and night cycles into effect, because it's not just there for aesthetic. The day and night cycles actually play a part because there's some enemies that only show up at night in certain areas, and that's also really dope. So they really just nailed it. Even the combat and stuff. It's like, if you played Bloodborne, we were talking about this a little bit before the pod, but if you play a game like Bloodborne that's linear and you're playing and you're getting bodied in the first area, you just getting bodied and you just have to hold your L. Because this game is open world, if you're getting bodied in one spot, you don't got to keep fucking around in that one spot. Just go explore somewhere else. And because it's open world, you can go kill other things in the open world, use these souls, or I guess in this game it's runes, that you get every time you kill somebody. And you can go and sit down at any of the campfires that you've found and just use that to level up and keep farming and leveling yourself up until you feel like you're strong enough to go back to the area you were getting bodied in. So you have options. And I can't, like I said, I can't stress enough just the amount of freedom that you have like on the map. I love that. I don't feel like pressured to go do what the game wants me to do. I can approach it differently. Like I'm playing this game, Cam's playing this game, Patrice is playing this game, Nasi's playing this game, and we all have found things at different times just because of what we chose to explore. Like when I was talking to them, Patrice was like, oh, when the game started for me, I went west. And I found this, and this. And Nasi was like, oh, well, I went this way, and I found this, and this. And then Cam would be like, all right, well, I went south and ran into an enemy I had no business fighting and had to turn around and go level up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy how different the experiences are. And like, it just kind of gives me that feeling of like an old school game where like it makes you want to collaborate with everybody and be like, hey, yo, what'd you do to get past this one dude? Because I was getting fucked. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, well, it's like, oh, I did X, Y, and Z. And, I don't know, man. It's just like, I could really just go on like for like literal hours about that game because of how much fun I've had with it.
I feel like it almost is a marriage of the Souls games, like you said, but then like a little bit of, it's like they looked at Shadow of the Colossus and games in that ilk and we're like, wait, they're like, yo, you know what? Yeah, let's take some of that, put it in here, and now we have this open world living ecosystem. But then I didn't even know that stuff about like going underground. That seems really cool to randomly stumble upon something to go down an elevator for a minute and a half.
Bro,
yeah, sign me up.
Like, if I
sign me up, I'm not folding. But
if I pulled up that clip and showed you like that elevator, like when I was sitting on it, I was like, where am I going?
And you don't know where you're going, so the fear and the anticipation is just sitting in like, I'm either about to get fucked or
I'm about to find something really cool. And I also like how the game doesn't gridlock you into a class. That's another thing that a lot of games do that you don't have to. It's like, there are starting classes, but the starting class that you pick doesn't matter as much as you would think, because if I pick the samurai at the beginning of the game, right, it doesn't mean that I will never be able to do magic or anything like that. When I level up, your level is based off of where you want to allocate your points. Mm-hmm. So like, if I find a weapon that requires like a certain amount of like intelligence to hold later on, I'm not completely locked out of that weapon because of the fact that I chose a samurai at the beginning of the game. I can just go farm some stuff and then just drop a bunch of my points into intelligence until I can wield that weapon. And then I'm still holding it. So even though I'm, a samurai, I can still be a mage if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And that's what's really dope about it too. Like they just, it really just feels like they thought of everything. It's really hard for me to find negatives about that game. I would really have to like sit down and like poke and pry to find like the things I don't like about the game. Yeah. It's for me, it's the perfect RPG. Like it's going to be hard for me to even play other open world games because I've played this one. Like as dope as I know Horizon is, I didn't pick it up because I knew what was going on with Elden Ring, and I picked that up, and like, it's gonna be really hard to go back. Like and the difficulty curve as well. Like I'm one of the people who likes playing really, really challenging games, and so I like the fact that this game makes me feel so rewarded for when I beat people. Like when I was playing Horizon, I love the story, but and stuff, but like, taking out some of the enemies didn't feel like super like difficult to do. It was kind of like, all right, let me do this thing. And this one, even the random enemies, like just the smaller encounters, all have their own unique attack patterns. Like I was just talking about this the other day with Gerald. I played Guardians of the Galaxy. Great game, fun game. Story was so dope. I loved everything about it. But one of my nitpicks was that there was very little enemy variety. Felt like I could tackle all the enemies the same way. This game really makes you like, there are some enemies that will force you to use certain mechanics. They're like, oh, you ain't using that mechanic? This enemy gonna beat your ass until you start using that other mechanic. It out. And like, like there's some enemies that you're just like, okay, dodge rolling ain't working against this dude. Maybe I need to actually block and then counter attack. Or maybe I need to actually learn how to parry. Or maybe I need to fight this dude horseback. Because they actually have a horseback fighting mechanic in this game where you can ride horseback, do your strong attacks and all that other stuff. So like there really are a lot of different ways to tackle it. And then like, again, man, there is no other game I've played that knows how to make a boss the same way From Software makes a boss character. Like if you were somebody who really likes boss fights, like these boss fights like really teach you and make you learn. Like I'm not gonna tell y'all exactly who the first boss is. Y'all can go look it up. But I just know that the first boss in Elden Ring, like the first story boss, will make you learn how to fight properly. You are not going to go in there just hack and slashing your way through. That motherfucker is going to punish you for doing things. Like when I was fighting him, he specifically had attacks that were almost like designed. It almost felt like it was specifically designed for niggas like me. Like I was like, because I played some other Souls games in the past, so I was like, oh, okay, he's got an opening. He would trick you into thinking he had an opening, and the bosses actually have attack patterns based off of distance. I know this. So it's like if you're far away from him, he's got a certain attack pattern for when you're far. When you get close, you got a different attack pattern. And I'm just like, yo, this game respects the people that are playing it. They're just like, it's like, yeah, you're a gamer. So we're gonna give you some shit that's gonna make you work for it and earn it. And it's like
rewarding.
And it's like it gives me that same rewarding feeling that I feel like I get from playing like classic games. You go back and play an old Mario game, they're beatable, but them joints hard.
They're tough,
but they're not unfair.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like about these Dark Souls, Elden Ring, whatever you want to call it. Elden Ring is tough, but never unfair. And that's what I like about it. Every boss is extremely beatable. You just gotta have the perseverance to keep going.
What's the craziest boss that's killed you so far? Or not even boss, just the craziest enemy. Just the craziest enemy you've seen. Don't got to be a boss or anything. So what's the craziest enemy you've seen so far?
The craziest enemy I have seen, just off of a sheer shock value, was a dragon. And the reason why it's so wild is because they take advantage of the open world. You'll just be walking in the open world and see that shit flying in the distance. You're like, oh, okay, bet, I'm cool. But then that motherfucker comes and swoops on you. And the next thing you know, you see the bar at the bottom with the nigga's name. Like, oh shit, that's a boss? Like, I thought I was cool in it. The shock value was just crazy. I was walking, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I've seen that, man.
Yeah, like that, like the sheer scale of the ball. Like first, it's a dragon, so the size of it is crazy. But then like just the way they chose to drop it on you in the world, because it could have just been standing there.
Yeah.
But the fact that they have it fly to the location first, and it's like a trigger point. So when you walk near it, it flies in and lands on you. That's crazy. Or like just the other boss I told you about, I encountered on a bridge. You don't see him during the day, so it's cool. But when I went to that same place at night, he only spawns there at night. So when I got there, that nigga just looked at me.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, yo. So
I'm gonna go take a nap and come back.
Yeah, like
sleep on it and just come back. Knock it out. That one time you step away.
But and it's crazy because they got normal enemies that their sheer size and scale looks like a boss, but it's not even one. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, that ain't even a boss.
Right.
But yeah, now they got I think my favorite thing in Souls games the enemies do is that the enemies have grab attacks. And they're grabbing when you get caught by an enemy's grab attack, it's all like cinematic and crazy looking. Yeah, I've had like one where like a dragon like swooped me up in his mouth and started blowing fire while I was still in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it grabs you and then you just see your health bar getting like deleted.
I don't want no parts, bro. Y'all got that, bro. I just told y'all I gotta big myself up to beat Returnal. Y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it. I respect y'all. Like I will watch y'all play, man, vicariously from far. Y'all got that, man. What I'm gonna do with Dragon come and start, man.
It's fun, but yeah, man. Like I said, just fun game.
You haven't beat. I mean, I know you haven't like beat it or anything yet.
No.
What would you rate it right now? This can be regular 0 out of 10. It's only movies that are Aquaman into.
Okay. Right now, 10.
10 out of 10.
Zero problem.
Right now, I got no issues. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. And like I said, I had to like super nitpick
to find
it. But like if I have to think about what I don't like, I have to really think hard. And because I'm having such a hard time thinking about what I don't like, I'm gonna just say it's a 10.
Yeah.
I think that is the game of the year. Like I don't think there's anything beating that this year at all. Like
take notes, Ubisoft. Take notes.
Calling it a game of the year is not even a hot take.
Yeah,
I don't think it is.
I honestly, based on what I'm hearing about it, they might have an industry shifting game, because I think people were scared to do this with a game.
Yeah,
because it's single player. You're out there by yourself. It's a Souls game, so the difficulty level is crazy high. And then, but it's open world and you can explore. You can do all this stuff. When is the last time an Assassin's Creed game has done that? In Assassin's Creed, we're still like we're chasing feathers around the town and shit still. You know what I mean? Like, and it'd be fit. Maybe as you were kind of explaining why you don't like other open world games, I was like, you know what? That's my issue with Assassin's Creed. When we had to do the feather chasing and stuff, that was cool the first time. All right, cool. And we didn't really know much. It was new. But now that we've had open world games for so long,
they drilled the same shit into the ground for years and years and years without much progress.
Go here, go to this tower to unlock the map.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I gotta go here and synchronize. Okay, I go here. And it's like, there's no variety, there's no inspiration here. Do something different, and they just won't. And then once they figured out how to do the boats and the shipping, they were like, every version of Assassin's Creed, where you're gonna sail now. Every version, doesn't matter. They could do an Assassin's Creed 3052 and it would still be somehow you're sailing. Like it's just like, all right, man. Like, and it just, it's now repetitive and boring and just so I agree. I hear what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, there's so much variety, there's so much randomness to see, and like the enemy designs are both equally beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Like there's some stuff you're like, yo, that joint look really dope. And then there's some shit that's like, hey, yo, like you said, you'll see it in the distance. You're like, I don't want no parts of that. Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna just turn around. Like, but like, it's cool that their character designs are even able to like have that kind of an impact, because like, yeah, you'll be somewhere and each enemy really, like I said, just really has like a way that you have to approach them, and it's cool that the game makes me even like think in that capacity. And sometimes the enemy's not even like an actual enemy. It might be like a puzzle that you got to solve. Puzzles are crazy. You find ruins. There's always something amongst the ruins. There might be a random item. There might be a really dope weapon. There might be, again, like a mini boss other people haven't found. Like there's so much to explore that you can easily beat the game without finding something that somebody else found. And that alone adds to the game's replay value, because you might want to come back and play it again, and your experience on the second playthrough may be completely different just because of what you chose to go explore first. Like I was talking to Cam, and there was like a whole subline, like there was like a whole like quest line that he did that was drastically different than mine with the same character, just because of the order that we decided to do it in. So like
stuff like that's really cool.
Yeah, you always love that.
Yeah, so like when I did it, Cam was like, oh, I didn't talk to her until after I beat the first boss. And so because I didn't talk to her until after I beat the first boss, there was like this item I had to go retrieve before she came back to like, the little Hump World Center. And I was like, oh, I talked to her before and convinced her to come ahead of time, and I didn't have to do that whole thing. And so for him, it was like different. And then like, like you also have like the ability to like kill NPCs, or if you accidentally attack an NPC in this game, they remember it. So Cam accidentally attacked an NPC in his game, and that NPC doesn't even fuck with him anymore and won't even sell him shit. And they're like, oh, no, you want to fuck with me? You need to go do this quest line to have me like start selling to you again. Whereas because I haven't attacked that person, he like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then like, yeah, there's just always something to discover. It's like to talk to the NPCs. One NPC might have you go this way. It's just crazy the level of depth it has, man.
Meanwhile, in 2K, they can't make the announcers know that I won 4 national titles in college and I have 2 NBA championships. They're like, we don't know if he's gonna make it this season. Like, you can't just work it into the algorithm that I already did it. Like, I'm probably gonna make it. Maybe.
Like, this to me is a genre redefining game, the same way that Breath of the Wild was genre redefining the way it came out. Like, you can tell, like I think it's industry
redefining with the level of what you're talking about. There are so many games could pull little things from that.
Yeah,
I'll say this. No. As far as the redefine thing, I'll say this. I think this will be more defined than Breath of the Wild was 5 years ago, because there's been a couple of games here and there that have tried to at least capture some of the vibe of Breath of the Wild, like Genshin Impact, Ghost of Tsushima a little bit, Immortals Phoenix Rising by Ubisoft, which so I know y'all play that, but like I feel like this game has more that's better than what Breath of the Wild has done, as far as the open worlds are different. Open worlds are different. They're both minimalist, and you can explore and discover things. That's the only comparison. But other than that, how you approach enemies and things like that are different. And I think from what I've seen from Elden Ring, it's a lot better. So I think Elden Ring's going to catapult, not immediately, because these bigger games take more time. Like, I think games being made now that we don't even know about aren't going to be like, no, let's scrap everything, the $50 million we've spent, and we're going to redo the open world. I don't think any games are going to do that. But I think over the course of this decade, at least, I think we're going to see a lot more games follow this suit. Because I remember even on Twitter, was it this week or was it last week? I think it was this week. On Twitter, there was a thing that went around. A couple of developers were kind of, some people will kind of say, oh, they were salty about Elden Ring's success, but they kind of came across like, oh, this game has weird UX design, like the interface and stuff. Everything is too minimalist. There's not enough things on the screen or menus and stuff like that. I think one person was from Guerrilla, one was from Ubisoft. No names. I don't know the names, but that's what I saw. And it went viral.
One from Guerrilla. Ubisoft, I expect, but shame on the one from Guerrilla. Because it's not like, what are you competing on? You're making good games. Like, you make smoking games right now.
Yeah,
there's the narrative of it's not really narrative. It's kind of true if you think about it. But like, Horizon came out in 2017. Literally like a week or two later, Breath of the Wild did. there, it was a talk for the rest of the year basically, and it felt like it overshadowed Horizon Zero Dawn. Fast forward to 5 years ago.
You mean in like the media though?
Yeah, media. Not saying like, oh, this game sucks because this game is better. Nothing like that.
Okay.
It was more like,
but the media coverage pushed to Breath of the Wild over Horizon. I get you. I agree.
Right. Nothing against you.
Okay. And then I feel like the same thing is kind of happening now.
And so they got screwed again. Okay, so the Gorilla niggas are a little salty. Okay.
Yeah, and like it literally, like when you think about it,
they sick right now.
It's like, damn.
Yeah, and it sucks too because it's like Horizon is an amazing game. Like, I don't even want to compare it because they play differently.
Different, right?
Yeah. But they just had the unfortunate circumstance of launching next to another genre-defining game. Like,
and Elden Ring got pushed back too.
Yeah,
and Elden Ring got pushed back.
It already happened once, and then it's happening again.
It's happening again.
It's actually kind of wild.
Kind of wild. It actually kind of looks like they pushed Elden Ring back just for this. And Gorilla has to be hurting right now because they are literally sitting here saying, "Yo, we're moving on from our Killzone. We're moving on from our whole Killzone thing." And I'm trying to see if they made anything else that was like, nah. Like Killzone did its thing, but it was obviously exclusive. And now they come out and they've got Horizon, and it's like, yo, no, we're doing this really great thing, but it's like, at the same time though, here's this other amazing thing. Sorry,
like Elden Ring made me ask this question when I play other open world games now.
Mm-hmm.
How does being open world benefit this title?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. That yes,
because there's some times where I ask myself that about Horizon. I was playing Horizon, and I was like, does this game benefit from being open world, or would it be better linear?
That was okay.
Sometimes I wonder that. Sometimes I do wonder that. I can see what you're saying.
I'm glad you said that because I'm infamously like the one who knocks Horizon Zero Dawn. But I recognize it's a good game. I'm not saying it's a trash game, but like just the way that world is designed, despite being really beautiful and the art style is great, the intrigue and the robot designs are fantastic. I love all that. But when I play the game and move around it just seems like a chore.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like living. And I know it's kind of weird to say for a video game, but like it doesn't feel like, with like Elden Ring, you got all these different ruins and castles and forests and lakes and whatever, things like that. But like you can tell that there's like some sort of there's like a story here, like something happened or something's going on. And you get random enemy around the corners being an asshole that wants to hit you, stuff like that. But then you have whole bosses or mini bosses. It all seems like it's here and it's together. But like
example, in Horizon, it's open world, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to explore everything I can. If that's the case, why can I only climb shit that's yellow?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and was just like,
but I think, but also, I'll give.
That's
Horizon
not the main aim of those games, though, right?
No, it's not. Traversal isn't really. But I also will give Horizon some bail because I think they were still maybe stuck in that Assassin's Creed mindset. Yep, you can climb the white stuff here. You can do this here, and obviously we've seen Assassin's Creed even go away from that. We're just stuck on only climbing this one. The white where the sheet is or whatever. Like now you can climb wherever you want. I think they did that. I don't know if in Forbidden West, it's still just the yellow things that you're climbing up?
From what I've seen Kayla play, yeah.
Okay. And see, I'll admit that is a little annoying. And that was actually one of my first issues with Pokemon until I realized that the nobles come in to let you traverse the world differently. And then I was like, okay, well, that helps a lot. I think the traversal in Pokemon is one of its great, great strengths.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can agree that in Horizon, now that you really say it, Horizon really might have worked perfectly well as a linear game. That's interesting. I never really thought of it that way.
I would have appreciated it like that.
Yeah, and that was the thing because
or at least the God of War approach where everything is not like super open world. Like
I was thinking more Kena Bridge of Spirits.
That's like
a Kena version where it's like it's kind of open. You can kind of go around.
You can still backtrack to previous places.
Yeah,
if you so choose.
Yeah, you saying God of War is actually perfect because God of War is like.
It's a nice middle ground
ish, yeah.
And I feel like that's what like Horizon needed. Whereas when I'm playing Elden Ring, they really dove into it being open world. It's open world in every sense. There's crafting and everything like that. I feel like the thing I said about open world games is that if you're going to make an open world game, you need to reward the player for exploration.
Yeah.
Don't make an open world game and have your open world have nothing in it.
Yeah.
Because then it's open world for no reason. Now I'm just traversing large lands for no reason, and it's just taking time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, man. Well, cool. I'm glad we got to actually have you here and have this little Elden Ring talk, because
yes,
that it almost made me fold if I just didn't know better about myself. But that was some real deep. That was even more than I'd really realized. That I'm sure like Ian and Drop probably, because I know Ian's been looking at a lot of Elden Ring stuff.
I've been looking at some streams. I've been catching Afro Senju on YouTube. Shout out to him. His videos, very entertaining. It's very entertaining. That man be raging hard.
Yes.
Oh man, but I do want to play the game. I just don't know when I'm gonna get to it this year. I just want to.
That's what I'm saying. It's one of those things I want to pick up in somewhere down there. I'll see it for $30 one day, and I'm like, all right, now it's time for me to get my ass kicked. Now I'm ready to do this. Like,
that's kind of how I see it. Like when I play, I'm gonna play that for like at least. I'm imagining at least 2 months. I'm saying like where I want to get the most out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dedicate to other stuff.
Yeah. It's a big game too. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too. Yeah. It's a big game.
Yeah. And this year just is not the year for me to be picking up the fringe titles that I kind of like. I got it. Like there's too many shit.
The
too much shit that I like.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna start playing it that weekend. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my new mantra now. Like new games I get, I'm gonna play at least from that weekend. Within the first 48. I'm gonna treat the first 48.
Let me at least put some time into it, man. Yeah.
I stuff agree. I get for like super discount. That's like,
but that stuff don't count. I know what you mean. Yeah. Talking about big full price titles. It's annoying to buy a full price title and then be like, but let me put that to the side now and go finish. Like, no, I'm trying to let's get right into it.
Yes, sir.
Nah, man, that's dope. I'm glad we were able to have that talk.